Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and I have 4 beautiful children. And the reason I have 4 beautiful children, from 20 to 32, is because I began to study the process of raising happy, healthy, self-confident children before my first child was born. One of the most important things you do as a parent is you learn how children grow up to be really happy and healthy. So my wife and I read more than 30 books before we began, and they work. It's almost like if you want to be an excellent cook, you learn how to cook. And if you want to be a good painter, you learn how to paint. If you want to raise happy children, you learn how to raise happy children. Now, why is this so important? Well, children come into the world with no personality at all. They have basic temperament, basic attributes, but in terms of their personality, in terms of how they think and feel about themselves, it's all brand new. It's almost as if they come in as a white sheet and the parents write on this sheet. And so it's important that you know what you're doing. Children are born with no fears at all. They have 2 fears, physical fears, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling, but they have no other fears. All other fears have to be taught to a child when the child is growing up. The first personality quality they have is that children are completely fearless, and they just use the words, I can do anything. And the second is they're completely spontaneous, is that they laugh, they cry, they do whatever they want, they don't care about anybody or anything. So we say that they are uninhibited, they're not held back, and they are spontaneous. Now, very early in life, parents start to make mistakes with their children. And this is true in Poland, and it's true in China, and it's true in South America. It seems that parents are similar all over the world. The mistakes they make is, first of all, they begin to criticize their children. When the child wants to do something, they say, no, stop doing that. And soon the child learns the word no, stop. And the child begins to develop what is called the fear of failure, the fear of doing something and making a mistake. The second thing the parents do is they say, I'll punish you if you don't do this or do that. Children very soon develop the fear of rejection, the fear of criticism. They soon start to feel that if they don't do what their parents want them to do, then their parents will not love them. Now, in psychology, we know that all problems in adult life go back to problems that took place when the child was between the ages of 0 and about 5 years old. The worst of all problems for a child is the lack of love. Children need love like roses need rain. And the more love you give them, the happier and the healthier they become. So by parents saying, no, stop that, don't, the child starts to feel, I don't know why my parents get mad at me. It must be because I'm too small, I'm incompetent, I can't. And when the child grows up, the child develops the fear of failure. And whenever the child or the adult is presented with something new, they say, I can't, because they're afraid of being punished. They're afraid of making a mistake. The second mistake that parents do is they threaten to take away their love if the child does not do what they want the child to do. They threaten to withdraw love. And what we know is the major source of psychological problems for adults was love withdrawn when the child was growing up. Children need love like they need oxygen, like they need blood to the brain. And when the parent threatens to withdraw the love, the child panics and starts to do what the parent wants. And this is expressed in the words, I have to, I have to, I have to. Children who are treated with destructive criticism and lack of love or conditional love soon become uneasy and insecure. Later they become angry and afraid, and they lash out at their world, and they hate themselves. So we know that self-esteem is the critical factor in a child's life, and self-esteem is determined by how much love a child receives in their formative years. So the starting point of raising happy, healthy, self-confident children is constant encouragement and never criticize them. Now people say, or parents say, what can I do to get my children to behave? Well, you don't use physical punishment and you don't use criticism. Instead, you sit down and you talk to them. You guide them and direct them into proper behaviors. Now, the biggest mistake that I made was that I started to treat my children the way my parents treated me. And my parents were very critical, and my parents punished me all the time. And as soon as my children started to grow up and they made mistakes, I started to shout at my children until I thought, wait. I decided that I was not going to do to my children what my parents did to me. And I made a promise to myself and a promise to my children that I would raise them completely differently. And you know something? My children have never been criticized, and they have never been physically punished. And they have grown up to be very fine, healthy young people. They have no problems with themselves. They have high levels of self-confidence. They feel terrific about themselves. And that is your goal as a parent. And in the next session, I'll talk about more of these things.